Book your driving lesson now at dla-driving.co.uk. Sponsored by DLA Driving School.
Hello and welcome to Oh When the Town, and here's what's coming up today. Luton finally end their record of not winning from behind away from home this season after a 3-1 incredible comeback win against the bottom of the table side, which, let's be honest, pretty much makes it doom and gloom for Wycombe Wanderers, which I know, Batari, you're buzzing about, and Dave, you're pretty happy about that as well. Yes. What a win that was. We'll discuss that in more detail today. Moncur and Lua Lua and George Moncur made a huge impact off the bench, but where does their future lie? Will they be signing new contracts? Should they even start the next game against Watford? The big derby is on its way. And today we discuss that, and also answer your Instagram questions and plenty more. And on a day where the world is becoming slightly more normal again, it feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Pub gardens are open. Dave's back doing driving lessons. And we can go get some food from restaurants.
Can I just say,
now,
we didn't plan this very well, did we? Pub's open. We should have booked a pub garden and done a bloody thing from there.
Do you know what? I actually did think about it, and then I just thought...
so why did no one say
wouldn't let us, would they?
Well, I don't know. Producer Jacob's fault, probably.
But either way.
Blame for everything, may as well.
Minute 47 in, blame producer Jacob. I love it. We're in a good mood because of that, but also because of the football. It's been a great weekend of football. Luton coming from behind for the first time, I think, for 2 years since Oxford away from home to win a game.
Wow. Which
is quite extraordinary. It's taken that long, but it was good, wasn't it?
Oh, it was special, wasn't it?
The result was good. I know we're going to talk about the game in a minute. The result was good. Let's not draw ourselves away from the full performance of the game, but the goals and the way that they came back into it were fantastic. And every single goal was a fantastic goal.
Just a massive relief, wasn't it, really? Because, I mean...
Relief's probably a good word, isn't it? Because...
Oh, mate, of course. I mean, can you imagine losing to those fuckers? You just wouldn't want to... You couldn't even imagine it, could you? I mean, remember you, Dave? You was obviously...
I know.
I think you was worse than Luke the other day, to be honest, didn't you?
I dislike Wycombe with a passion.
Oh, I'm with you there.
I dislike the way they play the game. The only thing I'm disappointed with is we weren't behind that goal, because it would have been an amazing place to be. It would have been mental.
When Lua Lua score would have been unreal, wouldn't it?
I'd have fallen down the stairs.
Would have been unreal. Before we get into the game then, let's look at some 3-word reviews, how you guys summed up the game in 3 words. Dan says, we've got George. Alison, what a comeback. Sam, poor 78 minutes. Robert said, inspired game changers. Justin, 3 good goals. Fraser says, Nathan Jones hairdryer. Steve says, Pearson replacement please. Clive says, League One Wycombe. Rich, another Cornick assist. Fair play. I'll even put my hands on him and say, yeah, he's on to 10 assists, I think, this season now.
There you go,
and Will says, imagine away end.
Oh, there you go.
Some really good 3-word reviews there. I do like Robert's inspired game changers, because that's what Nathan Jones calls them.
Substitutes, as Dwayne likes to call them, because I said it earlier. Sorry, Dwayne didn't like that, but I'm going to go do that in a second. So,
it's nice, though, that it feels like this is the first time this season where the subs off the bench have made like a real impact. Like 2 of them have come on and changed the game, and it feels like that's not happened a lot this season.
Oh no, nowhere near enough. I mean, how many times? Well, saying that though, how many times he brought on substitution? We're going to call them substitutions, all right? How many times he brought them on and say like 10 minutes to go when they could have been the case in like 50th minute or whatever else? But yeah,
well, that was a lot of criticism Nathan Jones got, was why do we leave it so late? We kind of leave it as a reaction instead of, being proactive and trying to change the game. It seems like this time we went for it quite early on. We had Kaz and Moncur on the pitch with 35 minutes to go.
I think it helps playing against Wycombe as well, because let's face it, they're not exactly the greatest team in the world, are they?
No, they're not the greatest team. I would say that the manager changed the formation a couple of times during that game easily, and bringing on the substitutions was genius at the end, because with hindsight, total genius because of the way they impacted on it. But just that, we should have been playing better than we were anyway.
Yeah.
So, you would have expected us to be a little bit better than we were.
And with 2 players out there to prove a point as well, let's face it.
Yeah.
And playing for their futures, aren't they, really?
Well, we were going to talk about them too later on in the podcast. I think when you look at the start of the game, it kind of picked up from that Barnsley game. I felt there wasn't much going on. It was
it was very trap,
struggling to create scoring opportunities. And then you got to remember the opposition we played against in Wycombe.
I think every time we play Wycombe, the same thing happens. We sort of drop to their level a bit. They're there to spoil the game almost. That's how I feel. I didn't feel that they were any trouble. We just didn't get past.
Do you reckon it's difficult when you drop to a level of an opposition to get into your own flow and your own, your own style and your own movement?
I suppose that, like obviously we all know they play their dirty little tactics as well. They like to dive all over the place and whatever else and time waste, which obviously is key for them. But you can drop down, you find yourself dropping to that level, but realistically you shouldn't be. Because I'm sure no player in that team would say, well, actually, no, we didn't. I'm sure they would argue back with us and go, well, no, we didn't drop down to that level. But to us, it feels like maybe they
That's
didn't.
what it looks like, though, when you're watching it.
I think it's just utter frustration, to be honest.
Because you know that that Luton could be better than they were that day. And every time we play Wycombe, you get into the same thing. The game slows down. They do tactically fouling and whatever else, and they seem to waste, in our view, waste time.
Yeah, of course.
They would call it game management, of course. And I think that's what the frustration is, because you know that we can play miles better than we did, and we just didn't. We didn't take it to them immediately, and that's what disappointed me, really.
Yeah. I don't know about you two, but I thought the game sped up a bit with Dewsbury Hall on the pitch in that second half. I think when he came on at half time, he gets the ball and he's moving it quicker and he's...
Yeah, it's a transition, isn't it, from midfield to attack?
But isn't that the manager saying, get on there, do this, make it quick?
Yeah.
We have to speed up. He probably put a rock up their arse at half time.
In all fairness as well, like, I've seen no people said, he probably should have started, maybe, but at the same time, he's played a lot of minutes this season. I don't think that's the first time he's been dropped or hasn't started, whatever you want to call it. I think since we've had him, is it not?
I'd rather have him rested for the weekend. But,
exactly. And the thing is, I don't blame him for doing that. I'm not blaming Nathan Jones, because at the end of the day, Dewsbury Hall, like you say, his form had dipped. I said it last week before.
Yeah.
I think everyone knows it had, but he still plays at a high enough level to, you know what I mean? Maybe we expect too much from him, but the way he like you say, he impacted the game. So that's what we needed. Maybe he wouldn't have impacted the game as much from the start, or vice versa, and it's worked out in our favour in the end, doesn't it?
You shouldn't underestimate a team that's bottom of the league fighting for survival, because they are always going to try and put in an extra shift. But as a manager, you're going, do I save him for the bigger game? For in our view, is the bigger game.
Yeah.
Although some people would argue, take the easy 3 points from Wycombe.
Oh, 100%. I've been saying, I was feeling about it. Yeah, I'll be honest. I think the Wycombe game, to me personally,
don't say it.
I'm not going to say it's not as big, but it was huge. Like, because let's face it, Dave, I'm like you. Obviously, we said it the other day. You kept going, why do you hate them so much? We hate them. We literally hate Wycombe, me and Dave, don't we, Dave? We can't stand them.
It's crazy, because I just can't stand the way they play football. Yeah. Also, the way they got promoted. It's not their fault they got promoted in that way. However, they don't inspire me to want to watch them, ever.
Yeah, but you wouldn't, because you're a Luton fan. But anyway.
But no, that's not the point. If you go and see a game, and you play your socks off and you get beaten by the better team, fine. But when you get beaten by tactics that they have, not fine.
Yeah.
I don't like Wycombe, but I just think they're irrelevant. I think they're too small for me to worry about.
Bit like something else. Sorry, that's rude.
Well, that's the end of the podcast. Thanks, guys. Anyway.
I'll get rid of that.
It's staying in, mate. It's staying in. So basically, Nathan Jones said last week on the podcast, not on the podcast, but we ended the podcast last week with that quote from Nathan Jones saying how he's not going to mess about this team anymore. He's not going to mess about seeing if anyone's good enough or wants to be here. Do you think Luke Berry falls into that category of... Is Luke Berry needing to maybe prove a point that he's good enough to be here next season? Because he came in to the starting 11 alongside Bradley, Collins and Bree.
Do you know what? Weirdly enough, I don't see Berry going into the season.
No?
No, I think he offers more than what... obviously, some people say about Tunnicliffe. People sometimes say about... I can get my words out.
Tunnicliffe, mate.
About Berry.
Berry, there you go.
But I think he gives... great work rate, effort. All right, he's not the quickest, strongest, whatever player, but...
Does there come a stage, though, where the attributes you've just listed isn't good enough anymore? Like, is there a stage where we got to go, look, thanks for that,
depending on how you
work
play,
rate,
yes,
but maybe we could go for someone who's just a bit better in quality and can offer that as well?
And it also depends if you can get those players that have extra quality. But
that's the issue, isn't it?
This is it, yeah.
That is totally the issue. If you can't find anybody better, why would you let him go? That would be.
I know as football fans we get a bit sentimental sometimes, and obviously I like Luke Berry, I'm sure we all do. But
I think you could find someone better than Luke Berry out there this summer. I think we're going to need to replace Dewsbury Hall. Like 100% going to need to replace him. So
this is it. We don't want to change too much in the midfield, do we, really?
Hey, listen, with the Dewsbury Hall thing, we know he's going unless a miracle happens.
Well, you never know. Might go for another
unless
season.
a miracle, he's saying the right things, but unless a miracle happens,
he would
he's
only
gonna
say
go.
them things right now.
Of course,
let's be
right.
honest.
But we also felt the same when Izzy Brown buggered off. You know, so
And Clark came in and
trust
done amazing.
trust the management. Luke Berry, you know, if he's here next season, great. If he's not, we'll move on.
Well, Wycombe were handed the opportunity to go 1-0 up when they got given a penalty. Pearson, producer Jacobs speak about the earlier incident. Pearson already kind of dived in on that Ikpeazu. Thank you.
I'll do your job next week, mate. No, mate.
Yeah, might have to in a couple of weeks. We're going to be on holiday. But
no.
that one wasn't a penalty. And then it
5
wasn't a penalty.
Do you know why it wasn't a penalty?
Because he dived.
Because it wasn't a penalty. Because they were doing their thing. They were doing the diving. I think I tweeted that point. Yeah. He literally dived. It wasn't a pen in a million years. Never.
And then again...
Is this the first one?
The first one.
Yeah.
Never a penalty.
And then the second one was also, for me, is a dive as well.
Yeah, so the second one, Pearson's kind of knocked off the ball near the sideline. I think that would have been soft if that was given.
Hang on a minute. Let's just put that into perspective, because let's think of Tottenham Man United at the weekend and the little knock in the face.
Well,
That's it's the same thing. Pearson was bleeding, wasn't he?
But it's
a foul.
In all fairness, I understand. I do see what he's saying. It's very similar. It is, because
I understand that,
exactly
but
like a little slap,
no one's saying the one in the Premier League was correct either.
But it clearly was.
Well, so apparently to the officials it was, but yeah, I mean, you'll never know. It's subjective at the end of the day, isn't it, really? But
Naismith brought him down in the box, and the guy took...
Do you know what? To be fair, I don't think Naismith made much, if any, contact at all.
I think the guy just put his leg in there. I think Naismith pulled out. But obviously, don't get it wrong. I mean, we need to watch it a lot closer from a different angle. But for me, I've watched it 3 times over, and I think that, you know, Naismith's obviously there.
There was no complaints from Naismith when he made that challenge.
No, but you know, sometimes if you're the player, you go at a fast pace, and for me, it was, don't get it wrong, I think it was clever. It was Ikpeazu again, was it? It was clever centre forward play. It was really clever. I mean,
Musquee.
Oh, was it Musquee? Was it? Sorry, whoever it was, anyway. But I think if it was one of our players, we'd be going, "Oh, brilliant!" Do you know what I mean? Very clever. But
yeah, and I would also argue, what's the point in arguing, because they never change their mind.
No.
Literally never change their mind. So, you know, he sits there, takes a decision, and goes, right, we'll get on with it. So
yeah, but you see,
it's very soft.
You see times where players give away a foul and they're adamant they did touch the ball or they didn't make contact, but Naismith...
Well, I would say that, but, you know, the referee's given a penalty. He's not going to change his mind. He's just not going to change... Unless his linesman's flagging and he goes over another, you know, a 10-minute conversation with him, he's not changing his mind. What's the point? You're only going to get yourself booked.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying from his reaction, I thought it was a pen. Either way, took the pen, scored.
We'll watch it after. We'll have a
1-0.
discussion about it again.
Lovely, all right, sounds good. And then at half-time, made 2 changes. Harry Cornick and Dewsbury Hall came on for Berry and Tunney, and it kind of changed the game a little. Like I said earlier, Dewsbury Hall comes on and that pace of the game seems to change with that, like you said, transition play, weren't it? Of just... link play and just everything looked a bit quicker.
Very box to box, isn't he? I mean, I don't think there's never ever a set position with Dewsbury Hall within like the centre or the the middle part of the pitch or whatever you want to call it. There's no set position. I mean, he could be there, he could be here, he could be, do you know what I mean, in a centre forward position. At one point, he could be left like side of midfield. It could be anywhere, or he could be like shielding the back four at one point. You never know with him, and I think that's what helps us, because it helps other players as well. I mean, he's got energy. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Real good energy as well.
And then Lua Lua was brought on in 55 minutes. At this stage, we had so many attackers on the pitch, didn't we? I was thinking we're just clearly going for this.
Yeah, because, you know, we had to. We couldn't perform any worse than we did in the first half. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you needed to push up the pace. I kept saying, press higher, go quicker.
Go for it, yeah.
And then they were there to be beaten.
And then Wycombe got their red card. Josh Knight, straight red for a lunge on Jordan Clark. It was one of them fouls that as soon as it happened, watching the live pictures, I thought, he could be in trouble here, because the way his foot kind of like moved with his leg did make it look a bit high and stampy. But I don't know, looking at the replays,
I think it's because he's left his foot in there, hasn't he?
He's left his foot in there. I've heard of things like he got his studs caught in the laces or whatever. No, rubbish. He left his foot in there. He made an extra push. For me...
He's put himself in that position.
For me, it was a red on the day. Whether it gets rescinded, don't care. But
a red or first time viewing, or did you change your mind when you saw the replay?
No, I said red.
Even on replay?
Yeah.
What about you?
I stuck with red, yeah. I thought it was a red because
That's probably
because
to be fair, it's probably because we hate Wycombe a lot. But
probably is.
For me,
I think we're a bit biased. I think we're a bit sort of like deluded by the fact that we hate him. So
no, here's the other thing though.
I'd agree on that.
I mean, but if he's going in for the ball and his studs are in a position where they're sort of at like that sort of angle, and for those who are not watching, almost vertical hitting his leg, then it's a foul. It's dangerous play.
The way you've got to look at it is if his studs are up,
it's dangerous play.
If that's another part of the ankle or the foot or whatever, that could be breaking an ankle, or do you know what I mean? It could be breaking any part of the foot or the bone. But look, he's caught him on I think it was the top, wasn't it, of his boot or whatever.
Yeah, and it looks like he gets his foot and scrapes it down the front, but that could be. He literally could have got his studs caught in the laces, couldn't he?
Either way,
good he went. Yeah. Didn't like him.
It was good he went. I thought personally it was a bit harsh.
Well,
on the replay.
Yeah, you would do.
First viewing, I thought red. Second viewing, I was like, okay, that's a little harsh. But
hey, listen, you're not going to look a gift horse, are you?
Yeah,
if it wasn't a red and it was a red, who cares? You can't say that we've had players sent off in the past that shouldn't have been sent off. So
like you say, I mean, you can split that. You can probably put it to a vote. I'm sure you get very different responses to it. Like you say, it's very subjective to anything, isn't it? Really. So,
I thought it was enough to warrant what happened.
Yeah.
Here's a question then. Do you reckon if they had VAR and they went to review that, would they have stood with the on-field decision?
Well, you can't tell, can you?
Well, with is it
Literally
Cooper for Leeds?
can't
If
tell.
Cooper for Leeds got the yellow card, overturn it to a red card, then I think definitely because he got the ball. So, whereas this guy didn't. So for me, yes, it would have still been a red card. And
it was nice from that red card then that we did kind of take the game more to them and started to dominate possession more and actually started having some shots. I think Adebayo had one from that cross which went miles over. Dewsbury Hall had one. I think that was even before the red card, which was left-hand side. He had that ball as well pulled back to Colo. Looked like he had to just tap it in. Didn't do that.
That was also another one that people were saying potential penalty, but I don't think so. It wasn't. I don't think anyway.
No, I just think he got beaten to the ball just a little bit.
It was nothing in it, was it? Really?
I think from that, what you got to say is, even before the sending off, we were becoming into the ascendancy. We were taking a little bit more control. But after the sending off, it was just a case of, are we going to push that goal? Because the chances were coming, and rule of thumb says you'll take one.
Unless it's with us, and you never know. But
well,
we did get the opportunity.
There is that. I
when
say that.
Jordan Clark was fouled on the edge of the box, we all screamed at the referee for not playing advantage because it fell to corner on the right hand side. And then I was moaning about the amount of time Wycombe were taking to get their wall sorted. And I was just sitting there going, we're wasting 2 minutes here. We could be attacking. And I was like, watch us go in.
But that's why we hate Wycombe, isn't it? Because they will game manage like that.
And
they will game manage. Well, good. It always bites them on the arse if we're lucky.
I don't know why I was expecting the free kick just to go miles over the bar into the wall or something, but Moncur comes on the pitch and does just something that he seems to be so brilliant at, and that is scoring these ridiculous free kicks. And this one I feel like this one, if you compare it to like the Fleetwood one and the Portsmouth one, it's kind of got a bit of...
the same sort of side and the angle,
both,
isn't it? Yeah.
And that Oxford one as well, the lowness of that, the whip of the Fleetwood...
Yeah. They all seem to be very sort of similar, don't they? Like you say, yeah.
Oh, his technique was really good.
He never sort of whips it across. He always goes.
He almost placed it in. Yeah. He almost placed it in, and the curl on the ball around the wall was fantastic.
And he knew it was in straight away, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, you see him celebrate even before it's about 3 yards from the goal. Yeah.
You've got to ask the question: where was the Wycombe? I don't really care, to be fair, but the position of the Wycombe goalkeeper helped. The wall. I kept saying on the day, why have they got so many players in the wall there?
Yeah. I was going to ask, do you reckon Wycombe will be annoyed at that wall? Because you look at it, and there seems to be a huge gap that Moncur's got that in. Yeah. So is that from Stockdale not doing that wall further to the left-hand side? Because he's had such a huge gap to...
Well, yeah, I suppose...
He hasn't had to really work that hard.
But also, if you look at the guy that's on the far left, he sort of sticks his knee out. He sticks it out a little bit further, he blocks that.
Yeah, but also just see how much the ball moved on the way into that goal. It did.
Let's take nothing away from the goal.
It did really. Don't take nothing away from it. It was a really good place.
We're not taking it away, but if you put an extra 2 people at that side of the wall, they like Pataris does.
Or push it. Yeah, push it more left, and then you position your goalkeeper. Look, he was so far across to the right of the goal.
Yeah, and it also helps when you've got a fat goalkeeper playing for the opposition as well. Because let's face it, I think Wycombe got two of the shittest goalkeepers.
I thought he took the free kick quickly. Like I think he took that as soon as the referee blew his whistle there. Maybe they weren't properly set. But either way, great goal. Moncur doing it again. That's what we love to see. And then 2-3 minutes later, Lua Lua, stunning effort. I love Nathan Jones' quote after the game about he could hit a chip shop outside the training ground or
A kebab shop.
Kebab shop, that's it.
Down the road.
Or fly in top bins. And that feels like most of the time what it is with Kaz. And this time he slipped, but top bins.
Goal of the day.
You went mad.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, did he slip or did he just put so much power into it? That's how he fell.
Yeah,
You've seen
probably.
some players
Yeah.
just absolutely like launch himself at the ball.
As soon as it left his foot, it was going in, wasn't it? It was a brilliant goal.
Have you seen the angle as well from beyond the goal?
Yeah. Unreal.
Beautiful, man.
And imagine that away end.
Oh no, don't, because I would have fallen down the stairs. That's what happens when I'm there. But
That's not
you know,
too much falling downstairs,
the
boys.
strike was good. The movement was good. Even when he got the ball, he had a lot of space. He had a lot of time to put that in. Whether that's because there were one man down, I don't know. But when he struck it, it was brilliant. Lovely goal.
Pure.
Lovely goal. And to get two that quick
Was great, wasn't it?
Fantastic.
And then Adebayo seals it with a brilliant header from another Harry Cornick assist.
That's my favourite goal of the day. Just to let you all know.
Well, the Cornick one.
The Cornick?
Adebayo.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, the Cornick assist to Adebayo, yeah.
Yeah, because just the fact of...
He leapt so high.
I think, that's the thing I love. I love a header to go anyway, but I think you was like, oh, we're probably going to go out of play or whatever. I think you have a little winch to yourself, Cornick, fucking next minute, on the money, boom. Lovely.
And let's not forget the part Moncur plays in that as well, because his ball down the line to Cornick.
Yeah.
I've seen a few people comment on Twitter saying Moncur's ball was so perfect for Cornick because it's in a situation where he has to cross it first time.
Yeah. You don't have to think about it too much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of giving it to his feet and then maybe him going, all right, do I take this defender on or do I open? He had one option to cross, and he did.
And it's perfect.
And maybe that's what we say about Harry Cornick is maybe something like that he does need more.
Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, I thought his crossing the other day was spot on most of the time. Oh, don't get it wrong. You always get a couple of times the ball gets like whips in or it goes out of play or whatever. But I think recently Cornick's been putting him on the money. I think sometimes people give him a bit of stick for his crossing. Yeah, all right, it's not the greatest, but I think sometimes you don't have enough players in the box. Usually one or two in there.
I was about to say we've been absolutely baying for someone to be in there to be a target man, and that's what Adebayo. And that's what he was. And actually, when I was watching the goal over and over again, his jump was amazing.
Incredible,
he got so. I mean, I know he's a tall guy, but
It's
there was
leap,
no way that the defender was getting anywhere near him. He was head and shoulders above that defender, and his header was brilliant.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, it's amazing. And he's going like that, mate. You know.
Yeah, we might
next season they will score some goals.
We might have broken social distancing rules when that went in. But there we go.
And looking at the league table and in comparison to what it was, and I just wanted to do this because 2005 to 6, for me, you look back and it's hard to compare teams, isn't it? And I don't want to compare teams. But in 2005 to 6, we were on 61 points. And this season, what are we on now? 53?
53, yeah.
So we're only 8 points behind that total from there. And you think how you look back at that season and we finished 10th. Mm-hmm. And everyone was like, how good that is.
Well, still.
So to be fair,
still finished 10th this season, realistically.
I think also what you've got to bear in mind is that those Premier League clubs that have been relegated.
And he's going to look at him straight away.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I just knew it was coming. That used to be called the Premiership, though, Luke. Just to let you know, the parachute payments are bigger, so they retain their players more. So you could technically say it's a much harder league than it was in them times. And it's only proven by the top two of the
100%.
championship
Also,
right now.
Also, sorry to butt in. What I was going to say as well, I was looking at the league tables in the past 5 years in the championship, and I think up until last season and possibly the season before, you could stay up on 44 points or something like that. Teams were getting relegated on like 36 points, 41 points, and things like that. And you think, Jesus Christ, like, look how much like football's progressed. You know, like, even at that level now.
Yeah.
You even got like the teams at the bottom. I mean, I'm going to say it. I'm not going to do a teams like Wycombe, but even Wycombe have got 33 points. You know what I'm saying? With 5-6 games left or whatever. But
And they lost their first 7.
yeah,
What I love is that we've kept that record of not losing there.
yes,
it's great. And it's 8 away wins for the
Told you
season
so as
now,
well.
which I think is better than the campaign I was on about in 2005 to 6. So, you know what? Who knows? Next year, it's going to be a good one. I wanted today to focus on Lua Lua and Moncur after how much of an impact they both made off the bench at the weekend. Do they deserve a starting place against Watford, and can you see him staying next season? So let's start with the future of Moncur and Lua Lua. Do you reckon they could earn themselves a new deal?
Well, why not? I mean, for me, I think if you got to pick one of the two, it'd be Moncur for me, because I think you just got to look at his stats and his ratio, goals, assists, whatever else. It's something special, but all right, I understand that sometimes he doesn't always play because, Nathan Jones always criticised his work rate defensively, but I think he's picked up, I think he's come on even since League One.
Do you think the game on Saturday was perfect for Moncur because they were down to 10 men? Maybe there wasn't that much pressure on him to be that good on off the ball with movement and tracking and stuff. That he did have more of a free role of you go on,
yeah, of course.
do what you want.
I mean, certain types of games suit certain individuals, but of course, but I just think, like I said, obviously nothing against Lua Lua. Lua Lua's getting on a bit now. Moncur is a bit younger,
I saw this
isn't he?
comment on Twitter the other day, and someone said he's not. You say getting on, but for a professional footballer,
is he not like 32 now? Lua Lua, 33. I might have made that up.
I would say personally, it depends on whether they
30.
they want to play regular football, because I don't see Lua Lua as a starter.
No.
Moncur, possibly.
I think he just
I
gives
don't
us
see
something
Moncur
different.
as a starter.
But I think he gives us something different. I can see him starting certain games, not all games, but certain games.
Yeah.
But for me, he just gives more of an impact all round.
So, but I wouldn't be surprised if Lua Lua went and Moncur, because he loves the club. And then that was apparent when we was talking to him at Christmas time. He loves the club. He loves the football. He loves it all. And if we can keep him, then I think it's a bonus.
I can see him being in and around the squad next season if he starts. I think Luton will go big this transfer window, and I think you're going to have to, because you look at the teams that could potentially be coming up from League One.
Well, yeah, you got Sunderland.
If a team like Sunderland comes up, they're not going to do what Wycombe have done this season.
No.
If Portsmouth came up in the playoffs, they're not going to do what Wycombe have done this season. And you look at the teams coming down and how well Watford and Norwich have done this season in the league. Mm-hmm. It's going to be one of them seasons where I feel like we need to carry on building now and not look at people like Moncur and Lua Lua and go, oh, they've been here for a while, they could potentially do this. I say, if we can get them off the wage bill and go get someone for what their wage and double up on their wages to get someone.
But the issue is
better.
The whole issue is that funding might not be as big as it would have been if there'd been a full stadium every week.
I still think Lua Lua, Moncur. I still think he's got it in the end. I still think Moncur's got a lot more to offer as well for Luton. I really do believe that. I think every time we watch him, I think we see a player that has got bags of talent, and he really has. Lua Lua, he's got talent, this and that, but like you say,
maybe it's time for him to move on.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I don't dislike the guy. I mean, he's been brilliant when he's played. Player. But I think it's one of those times where you look at him and go, do you know what? Thanks.
Yeah, you've done great.
Drop a division, get a few more games.
Yeah.
It depends. The other thing is, if we offer him a contract, he'll stay because he wants the more money he'll get in our division than he would in a lower league.
Do you reckon Lua Lua walks into any League One squad?
Yeah, 100%. Of course he does.
Yeah. And do you think after their impact off the bench against Wycombe at the weekend that they deserve to start, one of them or both of them deserve to start in the derby game on Saturday?
See, this is a tough one. I don't know. It's against them fuckers, mate. You got to play your best team, whatever that is. However you want to play. That's more for the manager and for tactics and whatever else.
And this could be one that we've just mentioned. If Moncur isn't 100% perfect off the ball, you're going to be wanting a game against Watford.
Exactly. You could be a player down in that area then, realistically.
Yeah, I would rather him come on and score a goal like he did.
Yeah, let's get people working hard in the midfield. Let's get the Tunnicliffs in there and your Berries.
I feel
maybe.
like if Moncur has to come on, that means we'll be trailing or something. So.
No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that someone's knackered. Look, let's not worry too much about that game yet.
Yes.
I mean, it's this week.
I know.
We've got to worry about it.
No, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about
it.
The thing is with that game is we all know the passion behind it. We all know how we feel, and we know how much we really despise that team down the road. And they're lording it over us at the moment. So there's no reason why we can't get a result if we put out a strong team, we play fast and we play up. I think we could. Hopefully, I'm being optimistic, which is unusual for me.
Why not?
I'm hoping that we can do something. But if Moncur starts, I don't think so. I don't think he will.
I'm putting it out there right now. If we win on Saturday, I will happily lose every other game for the rest of the season. If I want to win Saturday, like you guys said about how much you hate Wycombe. For me, and I know you guys hate Watford as well.
Of course we do. I don't think anyone likes
Hang on,
it,
mate. There's not one team in this country. There's
one.
not one team in this country that I despise more than them.
Yeah.
Full stop. And I despise lots of teams.
You could have fooled me, Dave.
Hey, listen, I'm lucky enough. I'm lucky enough to be old enough to know that that I've seen so many victories against them, and some of the younger generation haven't.
Rub it in.
No, it's not rubbing it in. It hasn't, and so this hasn't happened for a while. I'm hopeful that we put in a really good performance. I think for me, it's don't lose.
Yeah.
Don't lose.
And put in a shift as well. If every player doesn't put 100% in, then we'll be pissed with them as well.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine what it'd be like being there though? Because it would be amazing, wouldn't it?
I'm still yet to go to a Luton Scummer game. So
don't worry.
Maybe
One
soon,
day.
mate. Maybe soon.
Maybe they just sort of we're at the start of their demise for the automatic place. Let's hope. But
this is what you guys said about Moncur and Lua Lua. Do they deserve to start against Watford at the weekend, and can you see them staying here next season? Richard says, I'd keep Moncur over Kaz. He scored some vital goals, but his attitude always seems to be off, taking an age to sign a new contract the other year, and I always think he feels he's better than the club. Grant says, no need to have the cautious approach any much longer this season. Put them both in and let's go for it in these last few games. Lou says, I'd love them both to stay, always capable of creating something out of nothing. James says, personally, I can't see them both staying. I'd love them to, but they need consistent football. So unless we give them that, it's looking like they're going to want to leave at best, which I think is fair enough, isn't it?
yeah, of course. I think we'll kind of sort of understand that as well. We're going to lose one of them, I believe. But I do generally think it's going to be Lua Lua. Like you say about his attitude, sign a new contract, this and that, I think...
I don't. Do you know what? His attitude about signing a new contract, when you think about his age, he's trying to get the best deal he wanted to get, and his agent was obviously shopping him around a bit and didn't get a better offer. And then he thinks, I'll stay.
Yeah, of course. But we forget, don't we, as well?
Yeah,
But
you've
sometimes
got
the agents as
agents.
well. Yeah, we forget about that.
Agents are almost I don't even want to say it. I don't like agents either. So there is that. So, I wouldn't be surprised if Lua Lua left.
This one from Matt is similar to what we've just been saying. They need to keep building the squad. Feel there is only room for one. Moncur gets the nod for me.
Yeah.
I think we've said this many a time.
All
Building the
to
squad
this.
is really important, and it's important because we want to consolidate more in this league. New stadium, push on.
And the thing is as well, obviously 2 years in the Championship as well, a bit more experience, obviously a bit more know-how with management, players and whatever else. They're going to know what kind of players you need to keep you up or to push you onto that next level. All right, sometimes it don't always work. But, sometimes you can't just sit there, festering on it. But, look.
Hey, listen, it would be devastating. It would be devastating if we put in this much work to get where we are and we don't keep that position. If we end up getting relegated because we haven't invested in the team, it would be awful. So, shed the wood that we don't need anymore.
Mark says, for me, Moncur should definitely start against Watford. We look more of an attacking threat when he plays. Is it a coincidence that he starts against Norwich, Preston at home and impacts on Saturday, which we scored 3 in those games?
Fair play. That's very
should have played more
comment,
and deserves a new contract.
Oh, I definitely agree with you. He should play more. Yeah, 100%. Like I think I've been saying it for quite a while as well. I think he's brilliant. But maybe if you're going to play, obviously, him against the Scummers on Saturday, maybe play him in a number 10, maybe. I don't know. I'll say maybe again. Maybe.
It's just, I can't just talk about Saturday. Just stop talking about Saturday.
About it, boys.
Well, let's stop talking about Saturday. Moving to some Instagram questions. This is what we asked you guys to get in touch with us about on social media, and we have a good few. So Connor says, do you reckon Colo's going to stay at Luton?
I hope so.
I'd like to think he would, and I think he'd partner well with Adebayo up front, like he did on Saturday, really. But
Didn't do a lot of Saturday though, did he?
No, but
off the bench, he looks incredible though. Just to let you all know.
I'm thinking, if he doesn't stay, we've got to go and buy another striker.
But this is the thing as well. Like
I think we've got to stop being scared of going into the transfer market.
I'm not scared
You
of
have
going
to be
in.
sometimes.
I'm not scared of going in.
Cautious.
But you have to go in and get another one, right?
What's wrong with that?
So,
Let's do it.
All
If
right.
we can,
you
let's
know
do
how
it.
hard it is to sign players on
If
Foot
they
Manager
said,
on a computer.
if they
do you know
said,
what I mean?
next, but if they said,
difficult to
if they
fish.
said next season that we've got Nombe and Adebayo up front, what would you say?
So that's the downgrade from
Exactly.
Colo and
I'd
exactly.
be asking
So-
who's on the bench.
But that's what I mean. So again, you take a punt on a lower league player like we have with Adebayo, or do you try to get an established goal scorer, or do you
say take a punt with a lower league player? I feel that's such a wrong expression.
All right, okay. Do you want to develop a player that's been in League 2 or League 1?
But let's be honest, Adebayo's stepped up perfectly. He hasn't. It's not like he's needed to have a season, out on loan to get. He's just.
Yeah, but
we've done him.
Those people are quite hard to find, aren't they? Those people, if they were easy to find, everybody would do it, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. We obviously find it quite hard to find, but it's not like Luton are sitting there now going, "Oh, we need a striker. Let's make it."
They've already got
know what
three or
they're
four
doing.
names in that.
Well, I know that we say that all the time. That trust the management, trust the team. They'll understand who they're looking for. Look at Mick Harford; he's brilliant at recruiting players. But do you take a risk, or do you just keep the one you have for now? Who knows? So
take a risk.
If the question was, will Colo stay? I wouldn't mind if he stayed. But then again, if he's not getting a game every week, he'll move on.
I think it depends on which other clubs are interested. Because if he's going for free,
would he go?
There could be a Derby County interested, and he might fancy a new challenge, which you could say fair play to him. Liam says, which area of the team do you feel is the weakest?
Oh,
yeah, that's a difficult one.
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like you're going to say central midfield.
Why?
Central midfield, maybe centre backs when we haven't got cover as well.
Yeah.
Like, when Bradley's out, Lockie's out, I think, we didn't struggle. We conceded a few more goals, but it doesn't fill me with joy sometimes.
That Derby and Barnsley game with the back four we had is, I think, a prime example of that.
Yeah. And it does fall apart sometimes, doesn't it? Obviously, your team's not on it. Your back four's all over the gaff and whatever else. But, midfield sometimes, I feel like we need a, what's the word? Just someone just to take control, like a Dewsbury Hall, because we know we're going to lose him in the season. I just think we need someone, maybe another two like him. And then I think we'd be sorted. I think we need players that can actually, do a bit of everything. I don't think we've got enough of that. Don't get it wrong, like Tunnicliffe, for example. I like Tunnicliffe. Some people don't. I think he's a good player. He does certain jobs, but he can't do every job. It's the same with Pelly. He can't do certain jobs, but they all do. Obviously, I know that's how football works. It's balance and whatever else, but I just feel like we need a player, a well-equipped, all-rounded player that can do a job and that can take the game. Do you know what I mean? And just go for it and just give us something different.
I'm really excited for the summer transfer window. I think we'll go big. I think we will go big.
I hope you're right.
As long as we don't go bust with it.
They've said with that transfer embargo stuff, they say how our summer plans won't be affected by this. Mm-hmm. So then I just think
it won't.
They must have ideas. Do you reckon Tom Ince will stay next season? Do you reckon?
No way.
No.
I've already said. I'm still going to say it again. Let's not get on with him. Doesn't matter about him, does it?
Just a point though. That transfer embargo was total bullshit.
Yeah, it's a lot of the clubs in the league.
EFL rules use the same rule.
Yeah.
And then they suspend 10 teams.
It's just lack of communication on their part, isn't it, really?
I like this one from Bardell. Most underrated Luton player.
Come on then. Who would you choose, Luke? Good. Put it back on him so we can get time to think.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
I would say, I don't think he's underrated, but I feel like he's better than what we think he is. I want to say Jordan Clark.
I don't think he's underrated.
I love Jordan Clark. I think he's been brilliant.
I think he's underrated by Steve.
Okay.
I don't know if Steve's being serious though, Steve. Can you get back to us on that, mate, please? But mate, Clark's amazing.
Jordan Clark, I think
brilliant.
everybody would say that Jordan Clark's been amazing since he's got.
Well, I think he's
football.
better than what everyone else thinks he is. So therefore, I feel he's underrated.
Well, not to me. He's not anyone I love. Mate, he fills it everywhere. He's brilliant.
You love Morel though.
Yeah, he can't get a fucking game, so that's his bullshit, isn't it?
It's a tough question because there's not anyone in that team that stands out as
Tunnicliffe, I think, is underrated. Tunnicliffe's underrated for me. I don't think he sets the world alight, but I think he does a very, very good job. Like I say, about balance and players that can't do everything, but he does a great job at what he does. And I think with a bit more confidence, Tunnicliffe could be even better. So let's face it, I've seen him play a lot before, obviously when he was at Millwall and whatever else.
Millwall loved him.
Yeah, he was brilliant. Proper player, the kind of player they expect, I suppose.
Dave, any answer from you? Or?
No answer from me. If I give an answer out, I'll just get snagged off for it. So I'm just gonna go with what you guys have said. It's
Dan Potts, the centre back as well, is underrated.
It's the difficult one though, isn't it? It's a really difficult one.
That's one we put out for producer Jacob to social media. Do you think who's the most underrated player in the Luton squad? That's what we want to know.
Yeah, okay. Well, that'd be good. It'd be good to see what they say. what everyone thinks? Because that's a really difficult question. Because I never look at it like that.
And talking of difficult questions, let's end on this one from Andrew. He says, "What will your first meal out be?" Now pub gardens are open again, restaurants are open.
McDonald's and a can of beer.
Taro.
No, I'm obviously not, mate. Come on.
Do you know what I'm really excited for?
Go on.
Just a nice steak and chips.
Do you know
with
what?
A pint.
What
That's
I'm
what I'm
really
excited
excited for, right? I'm going to be a bit optimistic here, right? So this is what's going to happen.
Davey just wants to know your first meal out.
I know that. I know he wants to know that. However, what
Come on then, man.
This is. I'm just me being
Special to you, innit? Yeah.
Yeah, because this is. It wouldn't matter what I was eating. So Saturday, what happens is this is what's going to happen, right? We're going to beat the Scummers down the road, 2-0, right? And I'm just really happy with that.
But before, Dave,
No.
what are you going to eat?
No. I'm not eating nothing.
What are you going to eat? That's all they want to know.
I'm going to go to the pub.
Ooh.
I'm going to go to the pub. Don't tap the table. I'm going to go to the pub. I'm going to buy a bottle of champagne, and I'm going to have the best steak I can find with some.
It's not even going to happen.
Just
It's
make
a
sure you
lie.
don't go to Cooper's then, let know.
Anyway.
What do you mean it's not going to happen?
Well, you just made us overrun for 2 minutes, so that's fine. We'll leave off.
My first meal is going to be a fry up. There you go.
Lovely.
Fry up.
That's
and a pint
all
of bitter.
Andrew wanted to know. And that's all we've got time for today.
Fry up and a pint of bitter.
So a big game coming up at the weekend, and let's hope that we can get the result. And maybe, if you guys fancied it, we could do a pre-Watford podcast.
Yeah, when?
What, 11 o'clock in the morning, we're all steaming drunk?
Could be a plan. Good shout.
Talking like Glasgow.
Anyway, that's all we've got time for today. Go catch us on YouTube if you haven't already. Owen the Town. You can see us live in our lovely studio here,
Lovely
which isn't
as ever.
really a studio,
Hello.
but. And get us on iTunes, rate us 5 stars, on socials, Owen the
what's wrong
Town,
with them?
and we shall see you next week to discuss
wrong?
everything about the M1 derby.